Hello, and welcome to this Linked POS training video. In this video, we're going to be talking about tax rules in Linked POS. There are two main tax rules in Linked POS, item tax and invoice tax. In this video, we're going to be talking about item tax specifically. To add a new item tax, head on over to the Rules menu. In the drop-down that appears, move your mouse over to Tax Rules and click on this Item Tax Rules button. This will open up the table with all existing item tax rules that you've added into Linked POS. Note that when you first install Linked POS, this table will be empty. To add a new item tax into Linked POS, click on the green plus sign in the top left corner. This will open up the form that allows you to add a new rule. Start off by giving the rule a name. Since this is an item tax, I'll be calling this Value Added Tax or VAT for short. Next, choose the type. There are two main types that can be chosen: percentage and fixed. Having a percentage tax means that the tax will be a percentage of the total price of the item. Having a fixed tax means that the tax will be a specific amount applied to the price of the item. In the next field, enter the percentage or the fixed amount you want to apply to the rule. Next comes the Applies to field. You can choose All if you want to apply the tax to all the items in your store. If you choose Selected, this will open up a form with a complete list of all items in your store. In countries where selected VAT or value-added tax is applicable, this feature is very useful. The right side of the form will show you the items currently subject to this tax. You can add a new item by choosing the item and clicking on this button. Or you can add all the items in your store by clicking on this button. To remove an item, choose the item and click on this button. Clicking on this button will remove all the items from your tax list. If you want to search for an item, you can do so by setting the criteria and using the search bar. If you choose Conditional in the Applies to field, you'll see an additional field pop up. This field has two options that can be chosen. You can choose to apply a tax on an item if the total number of that item exceeds a set value. Or you can choose to apply a tax if the total price of the item exceeds a set value. So, in the next field, enter the minimum amount of items there must be before this tax is applicable. Next, choose the start date and the end date. The start date denotes the start of the rule. The end date denotes when the rule will automatically stop applying to items. And hit Save. As you can see, the rule has been added to your list. If you ever want a detailed view of the rule, you can double-click on it and it opens up the viewer. Note that you cannot edit a rule once it has been created because it may cause inconsistencies in maintaining your accounting books. If you ever want to change something in a rule, you can deactivate it by choosing the rule and clicking on this Edit button. This will open up the Edit window. Change its status to inactive and you will see the rule disappear from your list. When you head on over to the sales terminal and proceed to conduct a transaction, you will see that this tax is applied. Note that when you first install Linked POS, the default layout of the sales terminal window does not show the tax section. You can change the layout by heading on over to the sales terminal options window. Start by adding the items and you will see the tax rule being implemented. The tax section in the bottom right corner shows you the net amount of tax applied to this invoice. This includes the invoice tax rules and the item tax rules. You can see the individual tax values of items in the invoice list. In some instances, you may have multiple tax rules applied. To see which rules are currently applied, move your mouse over to the item or the tax section. A tooltip will appear showing you all the currently applied tax rules. We hope you find this video helpful. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below.